Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Joaquin, congrats on the film. I read somewhere that Todd said it took him a couple months of convincing to get you to do this role, and even then you didn't give him a hard yes. So what was it that finally convinced you to take on this role?
It's funny, I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she was like, you always knew you were doing it. I said, I did? Because I remember really struggling with the decision. And she said, yeah, you kept saying you weren't sure, but we knew from the moment that you first talked about it that you were going to do it. So I'm not sure what that moment was where I was contractually obliged to make the film. But I think I always go through a long process with deciding if I'm going to make a movie or not. And I guess it's just like wanting to be sure, or at least as close to sure as possible, that you want to take on the experience. But I know that from when I first met Todd, I really liked him and I trusted him, and I thought that he had a unique way into this character and into this world. So I felt pretty confident of that. Mm-hmm. I think I just was probably unsure of myself.
Interesting. Did any of that have to do with the laugh, maybe? I know everyone's probably asking you about the laugh.
No, nobody has.
Oh, but I'm laughing. I have to ask you because watching it is a little uncomfortable at times. You know, it kind of feels like you're choking while doing it, yet I love how it's used in the story to kind of propel the story forward. So was that laugh easy or hard to come by, and how did you come to it?
Before I read the script, Todd showed me videos of people that have this uncontrollable laughing fits. And one in particular who, it looked very painful, his face would get red and he would choke. And so that was the inspiration, and really I just tried to copy them. And you know, Todd had always, it was described in the script as something that was almost painful. And so I thought that was such a unique way of approaching the Joker's laugh, which is so iconic. And I think I'd always imagined it as being just maniacal and kind of high pitched.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that Todd had approached it was through this more realistic lens, and kind of felt like it was motivated by something. And so it was finding that. But it, you know, some days it was easier than others.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You mentioned Joker's iconic laugh, and we've seen a lot of different Jokers, right? From the comic book and from pop culture. Was there anything specific that you took from Joker's personality from comic books or pop culture that you wanted to weave into your version of the character?
No.
Not one thing?
No.
What about the dancing? I know that you had a choreographer for the step scene, but you watched a lot of internet dancing videos. Which internet dancing videos, you know, influenced Arthur's moves?
There is, man, I'm scared I'm gonna up his name. I said his name before in the interview, but I just kind of like mumbled it, so I thought I could get away with it. But now I'm going. So I want to say Ray Bolger, but I'm afraid that it's Roy Bolger, and it's so stupid because I mean I watched this video countless times, and I think it's the thing that influenced my movement the most. And it's a song and a dance that he did called "The Old Soft Shoe." That sounds made up, but it's not. It's real. And I think that affected me the most.
Wow. I gotta look that up, the old soft shoe.
It's not real. I totally made that up.
I'm gonna be so sad if I go home and it's not real.
There is nothing there. But
there isn't?
No, it's totally made up. But I have to say something to kind of pass the time.
Oh, so there wasn't a specific dance video on the internet then?
Well, there was one. There's a fellow named Roy Bolger and a song called "The Old Soft Shoe." And that, I think, influenced me the most.
Got it. Okay, now that you've...
By the way, that is real.
Okay, I'm happy to know
It's
that.
not,
I will.
It's not. I'm sorry.
I'm so confused.
No, I made it up. I did. I made it up. Don't look because I made it up. But
Okay.
if you look for it, it's there because it's real.
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do.
So Todd, one of the interesting things about this film is that we actually get to learn the origin of Joker's laugh. So I'd love to know the inspiration behind that and how you came to it.
I think the fun thing about writing this movie was basically figuring out how to run everything that we know of Joker through as realistic a lens as possible, if that makes sense. So, for example, why is his skin white and his hair green? Why, how does that come to be in the real world? Why does he have this laugh in the real world? So we did a little bit of research on things like spontaneous laughter and found that there's this actual affliction, and it's not meant to be funny in the movie, and it's not, but it is a real thing. So, and that was a challenging thing for Joaquin to find that laugh, because you read the script and it says Arthur starts laughing, it's pain, there's pain in his eyes, he can't stop, and blah blah. And that, you read that and you go, okay, but to act that is a very, very difficult thing, and it was very intimidating for Joaquin. We talked a lot about the laugh because you've seen the movie; it comes up a lot, and but it was fun.
Yeah, him and I talked about it. I can't imagine how hard that was.
Right.
And on top of losing all that weight, Joaquin loses over 50 pounds.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere, Todd, that he actually thought that the character should gain weight. So I wanted to know from you, what is the story behind that, and how did you guys land on a weight loss?
Well, I think he wanted the character to gain weight because I think he just didn't want to deal with the struggle of losing, that much weight.
Mm-hmm.
But so he came to me and he was like, what about the opposite? What if we just play him like doughy and heavy and I'll gain a little weight? And I said, no, I think it's really important that Arthur kind of looks and feels like a wolf, like something like malnourished and hungry, and we had conversations and I won that one and he had to go lose 52 pounds. Although I didn't expect him to lose that much, in fairness. He just went with it.
Oh, really? So it was more than what you expected?
Well, we just wanted him to be really, we didn't put a number on it. I just said, just be really skinny, and he did.
Wow. I want to ask you about Scorsese, because there are a lot of parts of this film that feel like they're influenced by the King of Comedy. So did you talk to Martin beforehand? Did you get any advice from him?
The movie, King of Comedy is definitely a reference in the movie and an inspiration for sure. And it's not only King of Comedy, to be fair, it's really a time period of movies, I'm way older than you, that I grew up watching, which is really that mid-70s to early 80s kind of these great character studies, these Sidney Lumet films, Martin Scorsese movies, for sure. And I did actually send the script to Martin Scorsese, which was a trip in and of itself, and he read it, and we had a nice, great phone call about it, and that was about the extent of it, but it was amazing for me.
That's incredible. Has he seen the film?
He hasn't seen it yet, no. He's been knee-deep on Irishman, and
Right.
Which I can't wait to see, and he hasn't seen it yet, but I want him to.
Wow, that is iconic.
Yeah.
Now that you have Joker under your belt, Todd, is there another comic book character that you'd maybe want to do a character study of?
No, it's not like I was ever dying to do comic book movies. Honestly, I saw it as a really kind of fun sandbox to go into and try something really different with, which is what we did with Joker. It's not that now I want to make other comic book movies, and again, not that I wouldn't, but there's not something where I'm like, oh, now we should do the same sort of formula and do it to that. I like that this movie hopefully will stand on its own and people will, I hopefully love it, or I'm sure not everybody will. It's not for everyone. But no, I haven't really thought about other comic book characters.